All right, so we're diving into homeopathy today.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, lots of you have asked us to take a closer look at it.
I can see why.
Like, how does it actually work? Does it work? You know, the big questions.
Yeah, for sure.
We've got some excerpts from this article that really digs deep.
Uh-huh.
It covers the history, the science, the whole debate.
Sounds fascinating.
Ready to jump in?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's start with, like, the basic idea behind homeopathy.
Okay.
That whole, like, cures, like, thing.
Right.
It seems kind of, I don't know, counterintuitive.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
Like, how can something that causes a symptom actually treat that same symptom?
Right. It goes against, like, our normal thinking about medicine.
Totally.
But the idea is that a substance that can cause, certain symptoms in a healthy person can, in a super diluted form, actually alleviate those same symptoms in someone who's sick. Think of it like a bee sting.
Okay.
It causes inflammation, right?
Right.
But a homeopathic remedy that's made from bee venom might be used to treat, conditions that involve inflammation.
Huh.
It's kind of using that same energy, so to speak.
That's an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah.
But how does that, I don't know, how does that fit with what we know about, like, biology and how medicine usually works?
Yeah, that's where the second big principle of homeopathy comes in.
Okay.
It's called potentization.
Potent what?
Potentization.
Oh, okay.
And basically, homeopathic remedies, they go through this process of being diluted over and over again.
Diluted. Okay.
And they also shake it. They call it succussion.
Wow. Fancy word.
Right. But the goal is to, like, enhance the remedy's healing power.
Okay.
And we're talking about dilutions that are, like, mind-boggling. Like, imagine a single drop of, the original substance diluted in an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Okay, I'm with you.
And then, like, do that multiple times over.
Whoa.
Like, dilute it again and again.
Okay, so it's very, very diluted.
Extremely diluted.
So are there, like, is there even any of the original stuff left in these remedies?
That's the heart of the debate around homeopathy.
I bet.
Because at these crazy dilutions, it's very unlikely that there's even one molecule of the original substance left.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, to give you an idea of just how diluted we're talking.
Okay.
Like a 30C potency,
Okay.
which is a common homeopathic dilution. You would need a pill the size of the distance between Earth and the sun to have even one molecule
No way.
of the original ingredient.
That's insane.
It's wild, right?
Okay, so that's, like, super diluted.
Yeah.
So how do people who, like, believe in homeopathy, how do they explain how it works?
Right. If there's basically nothing left of the original thing.
Yeah.
Well, they talk about water memory.
Water memory?
Yeah, suggesting that water somehow holds on to the essence.
Like a memory?
Yeah, like a memory of the substance, even after all that diluting.
Huh. But if water could really remember everything it's touched, wouldn't every glass of water be, like, this crazy mix of everything?
That's the thing, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah.
So where did all this start? Like, how did homeopathy become a thing?
Right. Well, we got to go back to 18th century Europe.
Okay, way back.
Back then, the usual medical practices, like bloodletting, they were often more harmful than helpful.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, not a good time for medicine.
No.
And there was this German physician named Samuel Hahnemann.
Okay.
He was, like, totally disillusioned with those practices.
Understandably.
And he wanted to find gentler alternatives. So he developed the principles of homeopathy.
So he's the OG homeopath.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
He really emphasized minimal doses.
Oh, okay.
And treating each patient as an individual.
So that's interesting, that, like, personalized approach.
Right.
But didn't he have some pretty, like, strict rules for his patients?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of rules?
Well, he believed certain things could, like, mess with how well the remedies worked.
Okay, so, like, lifestyle stuff.
Yeah, like no coffee, no tea, no spicy foods.
Whoa, really?
No wool clothing.
Wow.
And even, like, limits on napping.
The naps.
Playing games.
Oh, no sun allowed.
And, well, let's just say some personal activities were off limits, too.
Okay, so a pretty strict lifestyle.
Very strict.
It's funny, though, like, nowadays, it doesn't seem like those rules are really followed by homeopaths.
Not so much.
So if those rules were, like, super important for the remedies to work back then,
yeah,
how can it still be effective now without them?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mystery.
It is.
So, I mean, the big question, the elephant in the room,
Uh-huh.
does homeopathy actually work?
Right, right.
The science side of things seems pretty skeptical.
They are, yeah.
What's their take?
Well, there have been like tons of studies
Okay.
on whether homeopathic treatments actually do anything, but the results are kind of all over the place.
So no clear answer.
Not really. A lot of the studies haven't shown any effects
Okay.
beyond what you'd expect from the placebo effect.
Oh, right, the placebo effect.
Yeah,
That's a whole other interesting thing, like mind-body connection and all that.
totally.
But if we're saying that, like, the effects people feel from homeopathy are just the placebo effect,
Mm-hmm.
what about cases where, kids or even animals seem to get better?
That's a great point.
Like, they're not consciously choosing to believe in it, right? They
Right.
don't have that, like, buy-in.
Exactly.
So how does that work?
Well, researchers think it probably comes down to observation,
Okay.
emotional cues,
Mm-hmm.
and the subconscious influence the caregivers have
Oh, interesting.
on those they care for.
Like, kids and animals pick up on our vibes.
Yeah, they're super attuned to like our emotions and how we act.
Okay.
So like, think about it.
Yeah.
If a parent or pet owner really believes that a remedy is going to work,
Mm.
they're going to be more relaxed, right?
Yeah, probably.
They'll have these positive expectations.
Okay.
And even like their touch will be gentler when they give the remedy.
Oh, interesting.
And they can actually like subconsciously affect the kid
Yeah.
or the animal.
So it's not like the remedy itself doing something magical.
No, not necessarily.
It's more about the whole context,
Yeah.
the belief around it
Yeah,
that creates this positive feedback loop.
exactly.
And I feel like time also plays a big role.
Oh, absolutely.
Like our bodies can heal themselves, right?
They're amazing at it.
And often people turn to remedies, homeopathic or whatever,
Yeah.
when they're already on the mend.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, it was the remedy that did it.
Exactly.
But really, their bodies were probably just going to heal anyway.
On their own schedule.
Yeah, that makes
It's like
sense.
that correlation doesn't equal causation thing.
Yeah.
Always looking for patterns.
Right.
Trying to figure out cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there's not a real link.
It's like our brains want to find an explanation.
Totally.
Like we want to feel like we did something
When it's come
to
to
make ourselves feel better.
Yeah, I get that.
It's very human.
Very human.
Yeah. It's amazing how, like, our brains can trick us sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
So we've been talking about homeopathy as like, this kind of small niche thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually way bigger than people realize, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's not just a few people brewing potions in their kitchens.
Right.
It's a huge industry.
Huge.
Like billions of dollars.
It's a global market.
Yeah.
Billions and billions.
Really?
Yeah, it's expected to be like over 17 billion by 2024.
Wow, that's a lot of money for, treatments that haven't really been proven to work scientifically.
Right. It definitely raises some questions.
It does. Like, what's driving that kind of financial success?
Well, I think part of it is marketing.
Okay.
Homeopathy has done a really good job of presenting itself as this gentle, natural alternative.
To, like, conventional medicine.
Yeah, exactly. Like big pharma.
Right. Which a lot of people are kind of wary of.
Yeah, there's this growing movement of people looking for more holistic approaches.
Mm-hmm. Things that feel more natural, less invasive.
Exactly.
But, I mean, is there a downside to all this?
Yeah, there are some concerns.
Like what?
Well, some people worry that this widespread acceptance of homeopathy,
Mm-hmm.
despite the lack of like strong scientific evidence,
Yeah.
it might lead to people distrusting conventional medicine.
Oh, interesting.
Evidence-based healthcare.
Like, they might be less likely to go to a doctor or follow their advice.
Yeah, potentially.
And that could have, like, serious consequences.
Yeah, if people are delaying necessary treatments
Right.
or relying on homeopathy for like really serious conditions,
That's scary.
it can be.
I mean, it's great to explore different options.
Of course.
But you got to be smart about it.
Right.
Prioritize treatments that actually have evidence behind them.
Yes, exactly. Especially when it comes to, life-threatening stuff.
Absolutely. So it's all about balance, right?
Yeah.
Being open-minded, but also being informed.
And making decisions with a qualified healthcare professional.
Definitely. So we've talked about the science side of things and the business side.
Yep.
But there's something else about homeopathy that seems to make it appealing to people. It's not just the remedies themselves, right?
Right.
What do you think it is?
I think it's the personal attention,
Okay.
the patient experience.
Right.
Like when you go to a homeopath for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a quick in and out thing.
Right. It's not like a 15-minute doctor's appointment.
Not at all.
Okay.
It's usually a long, in-depth consultation.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they really dig into your medical history,
Okay.
your
Yes.
lifestyle, your emotional state,
Interesting.
even your personality.
Huh. They really get to know you.
They do.
That's so different from like a typical doctor's visit
Yeah, it is.
where you feel rushed and like just a number.
Right, just another patient on the list.
Yeah.
But with homeopathy, you get this sense of being heard, like really listened to
Okay.
and understood.
That must feel pretty good.
It can be really powerful.
Yeah, especially in our busy world where everyone's so stressed.
Exactly. People crave that human connection.
That feeling of being seen as an individual.
Absolutely.
It's like the difference between reading a textbook about your health and having a conversation with a wise, compassionate friend who actually cares about you and wants to help.
That's a great way to put it.
So it's not just about the remedies.
Right.
It's about that whole experience,
Right.
the human element.
The human element is huge.
And that can have a real impact.
A real impact on how you feel, on your healing process.
So even though the science behind the remedies is debatable, that empathetic, individualized approach, that could be a big part of why people are drawn to homeopathy. It's like it's tapping into something that a lot of people feel is missing from modern medicine.
Right.
That sense of being truly cared for.
As a whole person, not just a set of symptoms.
Exactly. So maybe there's something conventional medicine can learn from that.
I think so.
You know, how can we bring more of that human-centered approach,
Yeah.
that emphasis on empathy and connection?
Into our healthcare system.
That's a big question.
It is.
How do we balance the efficiency and science of modern medicine with that individualized care?
That people are longing for.
It's a tough challenge.
It is, but it's worth thinking about.
For sure. It's like we need to find a way to bridge that gap between the art of healing
Right.
and the science of healing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like that feeling of being truly cared for can really make a difference.
It really can.
So, I mean, we've talked about how the science behind homeopathy is, you know, kind of shaky. But is there anything that conventional medicine can actually learn from this?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a really valuable lesson here.
What do you think that is?
It's a human element.
Okay, yeah, we were just talking about that.
Right. That focus on the patient's experience.
But I mean, are you saying we should like throw out all our prescriptions
No, not at all.
and just start taking sugar pills?
No.
Okay, good.
It's important to remember that, while empathy and belief can have a positive effect, they can't replace treatments that have like solid scientific backing.
Right. We can't just ignore all the progress we've made in medicine.
Exactly. We can't just wish away serious illnesses.
Yeah, sugar pill's not going to cure cancer,
No, it's not.
no matter how much you believe in it.
Exactly.
So it's about finding that middle ground, right?
Yeah.
Recognizing the importance of that human touch, but without, dismissing all the advancements we've made.
Right. It's not one or the other.
It's both.
It's finding a way to bring those two things together.
And that brings up like a really important question.
What's that?
How can we make sure that modern medicine, with all its amazing technology and everything, doesn't lose sight of the individual?
That's a big one.
Like, how do we create a healthcare system that's both efficient
Yeah.
and truly cares about people?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is. It's a tough one.
It is, but it's something we all need to be thinking about.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of homeopathy.
A lot to unpack.
Yeah, the history, the science, the philosophy behind it. It's clear that, like, the relationship between science, belief, and healing,
It's complicated.
it's not always a simple answer.
No.
Sometimes it's about, like, navigating those gray areas and appreciating all the different perspectives
Absolutely.
that contribute to, our understanding of health and well-being.
Yeah, I like that.
It's about being open-minded.
Asking questions.
And always learning.
Well said.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Until next time, stay curious.